Hi, third grade. Today we're going to do Unit 6, Week 3, Day 3. Let's get started with our drill sounds warm up. Repeat after me. A, Alaska, a. I, animal, a or I. Great. I, itch, I. I, pine, I. I, hi, I. And schwa, wagon, a or I. Nice work. Okay, next we're going to learn our word of the day. As you can see, I have my syllable frame set up. How many syllables does our word of the day have today? 3. All right, so are you ready for it? Confident. What's the word? Confident. Right. Hopefully, when you are in school and learning things, the more you learn and practice, the more confident you become with that skill. All right, help me with the first syllable. I think that one's the easiest. Con. Go. C, right? O-N. Great work. Okay, now the middle. Confident. F. What's making that sound? Or some people say confident. We learned in Unit 6, right? We've been practicing. This is that unexpected. I, like I, animal, or I. All right, and what about the last syllable? Dent. Confident. Help me. Right. D, E, and what's the blend at the end? Right. N, T. Great work. All right, now if we're going to mark this up, the first thing I always do is scoop it. Right, so we have 3 scoops for 3 syllables. Confident. The first syllable, what kind of syllable is that? Look at the vowel. It's closed in and it's a short vowel. Good. What about this middle vowel? This one's not closed in. It looks to be open, but we don't say confident. This is that open syllable exception because this is making the unexpected schwa sound, that upside down E. It's very tricky for me to do there. And then dent, what kind of syllable? Right, closed with a brev. Now, go ahead if you're at home. Hopefully you have your student notebook. We're going to add this word of the day in there on page 60. We've had other words of the day that start with the letter C. So if you've been here and you've had good attendance this school year, you should have crunch on page 60, catches, and now our word of the day for today, confident. Confident. Okay, so pause the video and get this word copied down on page 60, and then I will dictate the sentence for you. Okay, the sentence I want you to start writing is, I am more confident. I am more confident when I study. One more time. I am more confident when I study. Don't forget punctuation. Pause the video if you need more time with that, and then we'll go over the spelling and the scooping together. Okay, I made my face bigger so that you can see to check your sentence on page 60. I am more confident when I study. Check your word, make sure each one's spelled correctly. And then, how did you scoop yours? I chose to do 2 scoops. I am more confident when I study. Yours might look different, but hopefully it sounds right when you read it. Okay, before we learn our last new concept for Unit 6, I want to take some time and make sure that we have the open syllable exception I practiced well, because some people were still having a little bit of some challenges yesterday, and I want to make sure we're good to go before we learn something new. So let's practice with building 3 words. You should definitely be noticing, third grade, that our words in Fundations are getting much longer. So all of the words that we're going to practice right now are 3 syllables long. The first word I want you to think about and help me build is the word hesitate. Say it. Hesitate. If you hesitate before doing something or saying something, you stop and think. Okay, so what do you think? Right. Hes. Now, tate. What's saying that sound in the middle? That's your hint. In the middle of a word, and it's all by itself. So it's an open syllable in the middle of a word. Tate. Right. It's like that I, animal, or eh. Now, I think you'll be okay with the last one. Tate. Help me. T. We don't want it to say tat, so what do we need at the end? Right, our silent E. Good job. And then hopefully we remember, too, how to mark these really well, because that'll be on your unit test for sure coming up. Scoop the syllables always first. And we had to review in my room yesterday that every single syllable that you scoop must have a vowel. If it doesn't have a pink card in it, then you're not separating your syllables correctly, or you didn't spell that syllable correctly. So you have to check your work. Hes, what kind? Close, right? Now, when you have, that's a bad brev. There we go. How about or eh? This is the open exception because it doesn't say I like a normal open syllable would. Anytime you put the open syllable exception, you mark the vowel in that syllable with with the schwa, the upside down E. And tate, what's that pattern? You should see it clearly. Vowel, consonant, E. Right, so long vowel, silent E. Great work. Hesitate. Okay, the next word I want to practice with you is substitute. It's a long one. What's the word? Substitute. If you have a substitute teacher, your real teacher isn't at school. Help me with the first one. Sub. That's easy. Right. S-U-B. Now listen closely. St. Hopefully you heard that blend at the beginning. ST. Now what are we going to do for st? There's no vowel here yet, so what vowel? Substitute. That's the I in the middle syllable. Toot. Now, it's not T-O-O-T. We haven't done any vowel teams yet. So it's a long T-U, right? That's making that oo sound. Okay, and it's making the long sound, so we need the what? Right, silent E. Substitute. Good work. Let's mark it super fast. Scoop. Does every scoop have a vowel in it? At least, okay, so this one's closed with a brev. This one is open exception because it doesn't say substitute, right? And we always put the schwa. And this one is, right, that vowel, consonant E syllable with a long vowel, silent E. All right, let's do one more to practice. Okay, the last word I want to practice with you is continent. Say it. Continent. We live on the continent of North America. Continent. Help me. Right, C-O-N. T. What do you think? T what? You need a vowel. Right, I in those middle ones. Nent. Continent. N. Eh. Now be careful. Don't just put a T. It's not continent. It's continent. There's a tricky blend at the end, right? It's NT, continent. Very good. So when we mark, Scoop. What kind of syllable is con? Closed with a brev. How about t? Open exception with a that's a bad X in there. Sorry. With a schwa. Good. And how about nent? That vowel is closed in with that blend at the end. Good job, third grade. Great practice. Okay, the last thing we're going to do today is watch our last new concept for Unit 6. Pay close attention. Here we go.
Hi, Fundations learners. It's Mrs. Cookie. And today is a very, very special Fundations lesson because in today's lesson, I am finally going to reveal the last letter keyword sound on our vowel sounds poster. Can't wait to get there, so let's get started. For today's lesson, it would be helpful to have your letterboard and tiles. You may have something your teacher sent you that looks like this that you can use. If you don't have either one, don't worry. Just get a paper and pencil. And also get out your student notebook. And if you don't have your student notebook, don't worry about it. You need to pause your video to go get your materials. I'll be right here when you get back. Thanks for getting back so fast. Let's take a look at the first word that I have up here. And I want you to pay attention to our middle syllable here, where we have our open syllable exception, where the I is going to make the schwa sound or say it. So let's scoop and read this together. Ready? Apricot. Apricot. You know what an apricot is? Probably some of you have eaten one. It's kind of a pale orange in color, and it looks like a plum. It usually comes out in the summertime, and it's really, really tasty. Let's take a look at this word again. What type of letter comes after the I in the word apricot? Is it a consonant or a vowel? Right, it's our consonant. I'm just going to put a little arrow here so we'll remember that it's our consonant. And let's mark our syllables. So our first syllable is closed, so we know our vowel is short. What type of syllable is the next one? Open exception, right? And we're going to put the schwa symbol over that I. And our last syllable is good, closed, and our vowel sound is short. I'm going to put another word up here, and I'm going to read it to you. And I want you to pay particular attention to the sound that the letter I is going to make in this word. So when I scoop this word, I'm going to read champion. Champion. You know, a champion is a winner. What sound did the I make in the word champion? Right, it made the sound E. And what type of letter comes after the I in this word? Is it a consonant or a vowel? This time it's a vowel. It's our vowel O. So this is something new that we're going to work on today. When we have our open syllable in the middle of the word that ends in an I, and there's a vowel that follows the I is going to make the sound E. I know, isn't that amazing? It's not going to say the schwa sound, it's going to say E. So when the I is followed by a consonant, it takes the schwa sound, but when the I is followed by a vowel, it makes the sound E. And the way we're going to mark this is it is an open syllable exception because the I is not saying the expected I sound. Here's we're going to put O for open, our X for exception, and we're going to mark this the same way we kind of marked the sound of E at the end of a multisyllabic word. We're going to put an E over the I with the long mark over it, and then a slash in front and a slash after to show it's making the sound E. Let's also mark our other syllables too. We have our closed syllable and a short vowel. We have another closed syllable, but this time the vowel is making the schwa sound. So I'm going to scoop this word again, and I'd like you to read the word with me. Are you ready? Champion. Champion. Great. So that means we have another new sound for the I and another new keyword. So be my echo. I champion E. Good. It's now time for the big reveal. What I need all of you to do is I need all of you to give me a drum roll. So nice and loud, let me hear that drum roll. Ta-da! Our final letter keyword sound on our vowel sound poster is I, champion, E. Wow! Look at all the vowels, keywords, and sounds that you have learned. Amazing. Just awesome. Good job. Let's go now. We've read a word. Let's go now, and we're going to do a little bit of spelling. So I need you to get out your letterboard and tiles if you have them. While you're doing that, I'm going to erase my board. And take down my cards. Get your board. If you need to set up your board, put your tiles back in place, go ahead and do that while I'm erasing. And we're ready. So I want you to be my echo and say the sound E. Find 4 things that make the sound E. Got them? All right, what's the first thing you learned that said E? Right, you learned E, consonant E. And you would use your blank consonant tile, and you might have to use your blank vowel tile too, because you don't have 2 E's on your board. What else did you learn that said E? Yeah, just E when it's an open syllable. Another thing that said E, Y when it's at the end of a multisyllabic word in an open syllable. And our new thing today that we learned that says E, I when it's an open exception and it's followed by a vowel. Good. So put those cards back, and we're going to spell some words. Got them all back? All right. The first word that I'd like you to echo is the word patio. Let's figure out our syllables in that word. Pat, E, O. Good. What's our first syllable? Can you find, Pat, can you find the tiles to make that syllable? Hopefully you found P, A, T. Nice. What was the second syllable? E. Now, I want to think for a minute. What's our last syllable? O. When you hear E as an open syllable, usually in the middle of the word, and the next letter is a vowel, what are you going to use for the sound E? You're right. You're going to use an I for the sound E. And our last syllable was? Good. O, and we know that's just an O. So let's scoop that to proof it. Ready? Pat, E, O. Patio. Some of you may have a patio where you live. It's usually a spot outside on the ground, and you can sit out there, maybe have a barbecue. Sometimes restaurants have a patio, and you can go out and dine on the patio. Let's also mark these syllable types. Our first syllable is what? Good, it's closed. We're going to put our C. That means our vowel sound is short. Our second syllable is going to be our open exception. So our O with our X. And remember, we're going to put the E with a long mark over it, and then the 2 slashes in front and after to show that that letter I is making the E sound. And our last syllable type is open. So we're going to put our O with our long mark to show it's making a long sound. Great. Let's spell that away. Ready? P, A, so be putting your tiles back as we spell, T, I-O. Good. Are you ready for the next word? Let me just erase my board. And I want you to repeat this word. Say radio. Good. Let's break that word down into syllables as I touch my syllable frames. Ray-D-O. Good. All right, let's go back to that first syllable. What was that first syllable again? Ray. Find the tiles and make that syllable ray. Got your tiles? All right, hopefully you have ray as R-A. What's the next syllable? D. Good. But we always have to think, what's the syllable? When we hear that long E sound, what comes after it? So what's the syllable after it? O, which is a vowel. How are you going to spell that syllable D if there's a vowel after that E sound? Yeah. We're going to put D-I. And our last syllable was O, which we know is O. Let's scoop it to proof it. Ray-D-O. Nice, radio. So remember, we have that open exception because the I is not making the expected sound of I, it's making the sound E. Good. So spell that away as you put your letters back. R-A-D-I-O. Radio. Next word, be my echo and say the word piano. Probably know what a piano is. Some of you may play a piano. Let's break that into syllables. P-N-O. What was that first syllable again? He. I'm hearing that long E sound. I suspect it might be an open syllable exception. What's my next syllable here? And that starts with what type of a letter? Vowel. So how are we going to spell he? Find your tiles. We're going to use P-I. Next syllable was, and good, find your glued sound tile for and. We have our A-N, and our last sound was O. And we know an O is an O. Let's scoop it and proof it. Piano. Piano. Good. Let's spell it away. So as you put your tiles back, let's name those letters. P-I-A-N-O. Piano. We're going to do one more word. Be my echo and say stadium. Good. Let's break that into syllables. Stay. D-um. Let's go back. What was that first syllable again? Stay. How are you going to spell stay? Find your tiles. Hopefully you have S-T-A. What was the second syllable? D. Now when I hear that E, I always want to think, what's the next syllable and what does it begin with? So our next syllable is begins with a vowel. How are you going to spell D when the next syllable begins with a vowel? You got it. D-I. And our last syllable, find your tiles and build U-M. And again, remember, when we hear that long E sound, it's followed by a vowel, we're going to use our I because we have an open syllable exception. So let's scoop and mark this word. Ready? Stay, Let's spell the whole thing. S-T-A-D-I-U-M. And if I mark it, my first syllable is closed. So my vowel, oh, did I say closed? Nobody stopped me? I mean, it's an open syllable and the vowel is long. Second syllable, it's open, but it's our open exception. So I'm going to put my E with the long mark over it and the 2 slashes. The last syllable is, this one is closed. I know this one is closed. And my vowel sound is short. Nice work, everyone. Last thing we're going to do before you go is you're going to get out your student notebooks and you're going to put some words and color some pictures in your student notebook. So if you have your notebook, open to pages 8 and 9. If you don't have your notebook, don't worry about it. You can just pause the video, copy down these directions, and then do it later. So on pages 8 and 9, you're going to color in your keyword picture, champion, for I. And then on page 24 in your notebook, next to the word, on your open syllable page, next to the word champion, you're going to write the word stadium, and you're going to mark it. Remember, you can always pause the video, get your materials, and put that information into your notebook. So I want to thank you for a very exciting lesson today. I'm just so proud of all of you for all of the vowel sounds that you have learned. You've learned so much information. You are vowel sound experts. And because you did such a great job today, it is a massive round of applause for all your work. So thank you so much for being with me today, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye.
All right, third grade, that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.